Oh, you just pressed play on This Week with Drunk Astrology. My name is Graham Breitenstein. I'm your astrologer and the creator of Drunk Astrology. If you're looking for someone to make astrology make sense to you and for you, well, my friend, you have come to the right place. Here on this podcast, we discuss the weekly cosmic weather. And when we break it down, we break it down. I believe that astrology can be used as a tool to inform your daily decisions and enhance your day-to-day life. So if you're ready to have a hell of a lot of fun with astrology, make some strategic decisions, and to just keep it real, well, that journey starts right now. What's going on, Astro lovers? Welcome to another episode. This is the podcast for the week of August 29th through September 4th, 2022. You heard it correct. We are entering the 9th month of the year, which means we only have 4 full months left of 2022. And even though we have a lot to cover this week, the first thing that I want to put into your ear is that your rent is due this week. Your mortgage is due this week. The bills are going to be flooding in if they haven't already. So I just want to put that in your ear because as of Thursday, it's September 1st. And isn't that when all the companies love to just say, oh, auto withdrawal taken. Oh, and guess what? This payment taken. Tis the season, I guess. And that's the thing with Virgo season, you know. The Leo sun says, go have fun in the sun, let your hair down, feel glamorous, dress up, dress down, enjoy yourself, have a good time. And then the sun enters Virgo, and Virgo goes, okay, well, I gave you your fun. You had your fun now. So now it's time to put on your uniform, go to school, go back to work, get real, get organized, get practical. So this week is it's a potent week. There are so many adjusting aspects, and what that says to me, what it suggests to me, is that we have a lot working, we have a lot moving, but we've got some speed bumps. We don't have roadblocks, but it's a week full of speed bumps, and it's really about finding your groove again, right? Getting back into your flow. So I just want to reiterate, this week isn't a week of roadblocks, but it is one of speed bumps. Like, oh, wait a minute, I got to adjust, I got to rearrange. And this is one of those weeks where I love to tell you, flexibility is your key to survival. You want to bend, not break this week, okay? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me see. We have 5 major aspects with quincunxes, which are those like annoying aspects that just require adjustment. But then the moon makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, gosh, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so you picking up what I'm putting down. The moon makes 13 adjusting aspects on its own this week. And then the other are adjusting with the planets, which are more potent. So you can just kind of get the picture that as you move each day, as you wake up each day, you just want to say, I'm ready and prepared for whatever is thrown at me. Whatever comes my way, I'm gonna bend. I'm not gonna break, and I'm gonna be flexible. I'm going to be like Gumby. Remember Gumby? I'm really aging myself. But those of you who know, you know. And if you don't know, Google it. But this is one of those weeks where you want to be super flexy and bendy, okay? We have, let's see, what all do we have this week? Well, let's just reiterate. Mercury is in his retrograde shadow, right? And this week, he's going to have his second element of his retrograde story. So, last week we had Mercury trine Pluto, which is that season of positive change that's coming with this retrograde story because he's going to trine Pluto another 2 more times. Well, this week, the second element of his retrograde story pops up on Friday because he has his opposition to Jupiter. Now, we're going to get so you're going to really have the full picture. By the end of the week, you're going to know, like, oh, okay, these are the stories. These are the elements that I'm going to be working with until late October. when he finally clears his retrograde shadow. Now, this retrograde season, he is going to split between Libra and Virgo. So he's going to be going back. And let's remember that we also have Mars in Gemini answering to Mercury. So Mars is, of course, our action, our energy, our drive, our motivation. So he's in a cerebral sign. He's in a Mercury-ruled sign. Gemini is all about connection, communicating, expressing yourself clearly, and really making sure your message is heard and understood, and it's understood and heard effectively, right? And that you're using your words effectively, and that you're really expressing what's really going on with you, especially with your direction, especially with what you're trying to accomplish, because Mars is trying to accomplish with action and strategy. So, and in Gemini, he's trying to accomplish with within partnerships and with close-knit partnerships and relationships. So Mars is going to be answering to a backwards, a little bit confused Mercury. So, we're probably going to not probably, we're being asked to really dig into our oh my gosh, Graham, use your words, our RE words. Re-strategize, refocus, reprioritize. And those are just some key words for this week anyway. While you're being asked to remain flexible, you want to find practical solutions. You want to prioritize, and maybe it's just a resetting of what you have on your plate, right? You just kind of get organized and say, okay, the things that I have on my plate right now are A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z. And now I need to say, actually, this week, B is more important than A. So I'm going to move A down, and I'm going to get B done. And then I'm going to revisit A after I do C and 1 and 3 instead of the 2. You understand what I'm saying? It's like really shifting where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. And that comes in this, maybe it's offloading, maybe it's prioritizing, and just being flexible. And just, saying, like, as long as you have your big picture, your end game in mind, whatever you're going towards. Remember, Virgo season is about taking daily steps and creating daily routines that are moving you towards a bigger vision, a bigger dream, a bigger goal, a bigger focus. And we're going to get reminded of that because remember, we're also in Virgo new moon energy this week. So, and next week. But this Virgo new moon is ripe with manifestation, ripe with the mindset to really carry you through, carry whatever you're looking to accomplish through all the way till the top of March next year when we have the Virgo full moon and everything that we begin right now comes to a head. The story climaxes then, and we really get to reap what we sow. So ask yourself, what am I sowing this week? Because if you're going to plant seeds of doubt, fear, especially if you're a Virgo or you're a mutable sign, Virgos, Geminis, Sagittarius, and Pisces, this is ripe for you. And I mean, everyone has this right manifestation quality, but we have a mutable new moon. So the mutable signs all get an extra little oomph of power. If you didn't attend the Wishing Well on Friday on Instagram Live, I would encourage you to go watch that live. It's about an hour. But I talk about in depth this Virgo new moon, plus where each and every zodiac sign, all 12 of them, have their most potent manifestation powers under this new moon. So, each sign during every new and full moon has a specific place in their chart that has a nice, I want to say seismic, because I always say cosmic, but it's where your manifestation juice is. And when you're tuned into that, when you're tapped in, and you're manifesting with that space in mind, that place in your chart in mind, you really are taking, you're really working in sync with the stars, and you're not just saying like, oh, it's a new moon, or oh, it's a full moon, I'm going to manifest. You really want to get intentional about when you're manifesting, and and how you're creating a contract with the universe. And a lot of that is about faith. And while we're moving through Virgo season, faith is another big theme because Virgo is a spiritual sign. It is in relationship to Pisces, which is the mystical, the spiritual, the realm of things not seen but felt, right? So when you're going throughout your week and you're remaining flexible, and no matter what comes your way, you're moving with it, you're not trying to swim upstream, just keep that in mind. If you're trying to latch on or control something that really is out of your control, remember that a need for control is a lack of faith. Ooh, I better write that down. I really like that. A need for control is a lack of faith. Baby, the Drunk Astro sermon has begun. And I haven't even had a real cup of coffee yet, so how about that? I'm on one now. But okay, let's just get into the moons, and we're going to get into what the planets are doing on the other side of that too, because we have quite a lot of potent aspects this week. So as the week begins, Monday, August 29th, the moon enters Libra at 2:45 a.m. and has a conjunction to Mercury, a trine to Mars, which is really nice, really positive forward action, a lot of yang energy there. And it has an opposition to Jupiter, which is just a little bit of an overdoing. Maybe getting ahead of yourself a little bit, but nothing you can't handle. Then Tuesday, the moon is in Libra all day. On Wednesday, the 31st, the Libra moon goes void at 3:43 a.m. Remember, the times I give you in this podcast are Pacific Daylight Time. Void at 3:43 a.m. with a square to Pluto. So that Libra moon is separative. It's argumentative. But it's looking for change. So it's just adjusting your strategy for change, and taking action towards change. Remember, Pluto's in Capricorn, and the U.S. alone, just the backdrop of your individual life. Remember, the United States, it's in its Pluto return, which is going to perfect for the second time in October. So just before elections. Isn't that going to be fun? On Wednesday at 10:11 a.m., the moon leaves Libra and enters Scorpio. It has two of those adjusting aspects late that night to Mars and Jupiter. Thursday, September 1st, your rent is due, your mortgage is due, your bills are due. Oh gosh, I hope it's entertaining to you, because it is to me, just knowing like, oh, okay, wow, it's more bills coming, great. But the Scorpio moon kind of dances with a nice sextile to the sun, and then three adjusting aspects for the rest of the afternoon and evening. Friday, September 2nd, the Scorpio moon goes void at 10:22 a.m. with a square to Venus. So Venus is in her last week of Leo. The very end of the week, she's going to enter Virgo. So this is really like squeeze the most life juice you can out of this last week of Venus being in Leo, because as a natal Leo Venus, I can say that Leo Venus is a very fun energy, very adventurous, very spontaneous. Wants to just doll up, look good, get some attention, just kind of flirt, mingle, be seen, let the light shine on you. Like I'm sporting kind of a basic tan, but like it feels good to have some like color on my skin. But this is a great week to just kind of soak up, like keep that in mind. Like especially, I'm going to insert a little bit of a Virgo billboard moment, especially those of you who are doing the Virgo season self-care challenge with me. We have a total of 40 challengers this year. Last year, I think we had like 12. I think we had like 12 or 13. And now this year, we have 40 self-care challengers. But keep this in mind. Venus is in Leo for this is it. This is the last week with her. So have fun with your challenge when you're doing your self-care moments and you're sharing them. keep in mind that this energy is about to, Venus, when she goes into Virgo, I mean, we'll talk about it in a second, but she gets way more serious and critical, nitpicky, focused on work, and really has to kind of work for balance, like work-life balance, party hard, work hard, even though it's the other way around. It's like work hard and harder, ... and maybe party. But when she's in Leo, she's all party. She's also getting a lot done because she's super creative. So anyway, when the Scorpio moon on Friday goes void and with a square to Venus, it's fixed water, fixed fire. Venus is, of course, it's about relationship. It's about money too. Scorpio moon, all about money. I mean, it's also about relationship and partnership or whatever, but there's a big financial component, especially with a square to Venus on top of it. There's adjusting within finances. There is maybe just a great energy if you want to use this Scorpio moon to your advantage. That's a great time to really kind of look at your financial assets and say, okay, where am I at now? Let me check my bank statements, make sure that everything is good. Let me just, do a nice evaluation. And by doing that, oh my gosh, Graham, you're working with the positive side of a Scorpio moon going void with a square to Venus. That's working with the energy rather than against the energy, rather than being like, oh my gosh, I'm broke. I don't have anything. What am I going to do? The positive side of that square. That's what you're going to do. You're going to sit down and you're going to get down to brass tacks and be like, okay, what do I have now? What do I have coming in? And what do I have going out? And getting that clear is going to set you up beautifully for when the moon enters Sagittarius, which happens Friday, September 2nd at 3:39 p.m. And the moon is in Sag all day Saturday, September 3rd. And it's making a lot of aspects, but not the least of which is the quarter moon. So we're going to have the second quarter moon at 11:08 a.m. at 11 degrees, 14 minutes. So again, mutables, you're up. Quarter moons are looking for balance. They tend to be stressful days. In Sagittarius, it can be, someone, maybe over speaking, overdoing something in some way, shape, or form, because it's Jupiter's fiery energy. So it's about expansion and growth. It's about your big picture. So remember, if you didn't watch that wishing well, I would go back and watch it, because the intentions you're setting under this Virgo new moon energy, if you don't have your big picture in mind, we're going to lose the potency of that new moon. So this quarter moon is especially going to be talking to everybody, but it's really going to pinpoint. It can be stressful for you if you don't have your end game in mind, if you don't know what your end goal is, and all that Virgo energy is like, oh, I'm just busy. I just have like so many things on my plate. Well, how many of those things on your plate are related to your end goal? That is what this Sagittarius quarter moon is. So think about that this week too, okay? Like, I know I'm giving you a lot of things to think about. I understand. I totally understand. But this is, as you're using the Leo Venus energy of having fun, you're also using the Virgo energy, the new moon energy, and this Sag quarter moon energy this weekend to say, okay, I know that as I go by each day, I want to make sure that I'm getting closer to my big picture goals if I don't have them, or that my daily actions, at least for a dedicated amount of time, are moving me towards that big picture goal. Then Sunday, September 4th, the Sagittarius moon goes void at 6:51 p.m. with a trine to Venus. So that's why I say, if you do that necessary Scorpio moon square Venus work, the Sag energy this weekend. Now, the moon loves being in Sag, right? When the moon is in the sign of Jupiter or the moon itself, so you're looking at Taurus when the moon is exalted. You are looking at Cancer when the moon is in its domicile placement. That's the astro-geeky word for it. And Jupiter's exaltation, because Jupiter loves being in Cancer. But then in the signs of Jupiter, Sagittarius and Pisces. Pisces is the watery domicile place for Jupiter. And Sagittarius is the fiery home. So even when the moon goes void in Sag at 6:51 p.m., that is still positive things can come from that. Now, it's still void, but it's only void for, what is it, like 12 minutes, because then at 7:03 p.m. on Sunday the 4th, the moon enters Capricorn, and that Cap moon goes void Tuesday, September 6th, with a conjunction to Pluto. So we know conjunctions can be a little nasty, or they can be, they can be nice. With Pluto, it's just all about change and transformation. Things are moving, things are still changing, and that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so, but that's a nice little like lunar lesson there to take with you. Anytime you hear the moon's in Cancer, Taurus, Sag, or Pisces, you know that even when those moons go void, they're somewhat productive. But the general rule of thumb, and this is what I really stick by, general rule of thumb is don't start anything new. Don't go buy a bunch of groceries under a void moon. They'll end up going bad, or you forget about them. You end up eating out. But it's not as detrimental or like nothing coming from it type of vibe with it when it's in a sign that it really likes. Taurus, Cancer, Sag, Pisces. Okay? All right. So that is the moons. We're covered there. Now let's talk about these planets, because not only is the moon making all those adjusting aspects like we already covered, now the planets are also. So Tuesday is the first up, the August 30th. Sun has a quincunx to Jupiter. So that's like your first speed bump, right? The sun's in Virgo saying, okay, I have all this on my plate. Jupiter's in Aries, retrograde, really reviewing the things that it's put into place since early spring. So now it's like, okay, I'm reviewing, but I'm also in Aries. I could be overdoing. And now it's like, okay, the Virgo sun's like, well, I have all this to do. Jupiter's like, yeah, you do. And you have this to do, this to do, this to do, this to do. And so that's just like, that's where that reprioritizing or adjusting, arranging, bending, not breaking, practical solutions. Remember, keep that in mind. You want practical solutions. Then on August 31st, Wednesday, Venus has a quincunx to Neptune. So Leo's and Venus trying to have a good time. And Neptune's like, hey, what about the dream over here? What you gonna do about that? What about the financial component of this? What about the relationship? What about what are we gonna do here? So Venus is having to adjust to Neptune. Neptune's, of course, like things aren't really clear. So it's like really just trying to like get down to like, okay, well, what is it? Because Neptune's over there in fog lands, just like murking up the sea, and Venus is in Leo, like, yo, I got the sun shining on me. So are we gonna have fun, or are we gonna be in this like weird space? So speed bump number 2. Now on September 1st, Thursday, Mars has a lovely sextile to Jupiter. So now Mars being in Gemini, he's buzzing around. He's working and strategizing with community, with friends, with people that it likes to work with. And it's growing and expanding with Jupiter in Aries in a way that, gives you kind of like butterflies. Like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? Am I really doing this? And that sextile says, yes, you really are doing this. Now get your plan together. Do you need support? Do you need help? If so, this is like when you ask for it. But on the same day, Venus now has an adjusting aspect to Pluto. So now Venus is changing the financial story again. She's adjusting the relationship again. And this is just one of those things where you're like, okay, how do I find the balance? Remember, Venus always wants balance. She always wants harmony. And sometimes that's within her, maybe the relationship is the changes that are necessary within yourself. She's trying to strike a deal and strike a balance so that all these changes that are occurring are to your benefit, and you're good with, and you're clear with, and you're understood. Like you have a sense of understanding within yourself. Like, okay, are you balanced? Are you making a coherent decision from a stable place? And are you having fun? Remember, like Venus is still in Leo at this point. So, are you enjoying this? because that's like the big idea with when a Leo Venus is making these kinds of aspects. Like, okay, as long as we are in a space of this feels good and we feel like we're being celebrated or we're celebrating ourselves, we're celebrating our wins. As long as we're doing that, like we're okay. Then I'll make the changes that are necessary, but it's got to still like work for me, right? And that's a big one. And now I'm so glad that just came to me, because that's what, like, make sure it works for me is the vibe here with Venus making these adjusting aspects. Now on Friday, September 2nd, Mercury has his opposition to Jupiter. This is the first of three. Remember, this is the second element of the story that Mercury's making this retrograde season. So we had the trine to Pluto last Monday, which was first element, first time. Now this is coming through. So now when Mercury opposes Jupiter, remember, this is still positive expansion, but you gotta be aware of taking on too much too soon. So don't, be mindful that you're not taking on more than you can manage. Call in support. Again, this is another opportunity. Call in support if you need to, because this is also really going to send us into Mercury's retrograde. And once he makes this aspect, now he's claiming the story. So now the energy really begins. This is like Mercury enters that stormy phase of his retrograde, because next Friday on the 9th, he officially stations. So, be mindful that this weekend can have quite a few hiccups because Mercury is in that storm phase. He's getting, he's been in shadow, but now he's like, okay, now we're really about to enter into some things. Okay? Then Saturday, we have that Sagittarius quarter moon. We've already talked about it. And then Sunday, we've got Venus entering Virgo at 9:05 p.m. Now, she's going to be in Virgo till September 29th. So all of September, we're basically hosting Venus in Virgo. So here's the thing. She's super critical. She's super nitpicky. And a lot of times, it's towards herself. So, you want to be mindful of the way you think to yourself, the way you talk to yourself, the way, when you look at yourself. Venus in Virgo can get really just dissecting down to like the tiny minutia. She can be very annoying when she's in Virgo. Now, that's not to say any of you listeners out there that might have a Virgo Venus, that's not saying you're annoying. But when we're all honorary Virgo Venus, which we will be from the 4th of September through the 29th, we can tend to err on that side of just criticizing too much and missing the point, right? Like missing the big picture. So it's just another reminder to use her effectively and positively when you're putting a presentation together or when you're presenting something or whatever. Now, then you want it to be the best it can be. A Virgo Venus is going to be great at perfecting and fine-tuning and tweaking something. That's great, but you don't want to go into negative self-criticism, negative analysis paralysis, and overthinking everything. Pull back and say, what's the big picture? Am I really too focused, too honed in, and have a really narrow set of they're not rose-colored glasses, because Virgo Venus is not one with rose-colored glasses. She's, if anything, she's more of she's more dark-shaded glasses. You're never gonna be good enough for me. You gotta pull back out of that kind of mentality when Venus is in Virgo. And also another positive side of her is getting organized, tidying up, cleaning up. Editing your living space, right? Venus wants to host. In Virgo, she wants to be of service. So again, another energy that says if you need support, don't take on more, because Venus in Virgo can just say no one's going to do it as well as me, so I'll just do it myself. But when that energy does that to everything, that's no bueno, because now you've just taken on everything because no one else can do it better than you. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm putting down? So also, if those of you that are single and out there mingling, You want to know what the biggest turn-ons for a Virgo Venus are? I'll tell you. That brain, intelligence is super sexy to a Virgo Venus, but also a clean bill of health. Baby, Virgo Venus wants you to have those teeth sparkling white. She wants to see you floss and Listerine and brush your teeth twice a day. Have mints. Never smell bad. You want to have like your deodorant on standby. Make sure you have a little kit for yourself in the armrest of your car. Tell me that's not a thing, because this Virgo here still has a little kit in my console, so no matter what. And if I'll do a little shameless self-plug here. If you're someone who's like me and is like, I'm just terrified of anyone ever thinking I smell, hello Virgo energy. So that's why I created the Zodiac fragrance blends, and I made them into a cosmic body oil. So, let me know, hit me up if that's something that you want, because like I have them in my car, I have them in my bathroom, so that they fit in that tiny little pocket in your jeans, that little third tiny pocket, usually on the right side. They're perfect in there. I put that in my chapstick, and baby, you won't ever catch me on these streets smelling. Ever, unless it's one of my like mutable mania days and I completely forget. And then I just freak out all day. So just keep that in mind. You could just let me know if that's something that you want. And last but not least for this week, baby, we finally have the nodes direct again, but they're only direct on Thursday, Friday. So September 1st and September 2nd, the nodes are direct. These are your days to shake as many hands as possible, to send your proposals, to write that text message or make that phone call, however you are trying to grow and expand, because remember, we have Mercury opposite Jupiter on Friday. Whatever is related to your growth, expansion, and changing your current scenario while you're experiencing all these speed bumps, just keep in mind Thursday and Friday are your go days. Monday's nice too because the moon's in Libra, all about connection and partnership, and there's no planetary action. Your sweet spot on Monday, I will tell you, is anytime from 11:10 a.m. to 2:50 p.m. Okay, you have a nice 4-hour window on Monday where there's just so many nice, we're leaving the conjunction to Mercury in the early morning, and we're going into a trine to Mars. So that's really positive connection and action within relationship. But Thursday and Friday, nodes are direct. We're not going to have that. We have it more. We only had one day in August. Hold on, let me tell you. In September, we're not going to have it again until, right after my birthday. 14th, 15th, and 16th. And then 28th, 29th, and 30th. So we definitely have it more in October. It really starts opening up. So when the nodes are direct, that is fated opportunities, fated events, fated conversations, connections. So get out there and do your thing. Do what you need to do. That's it for me. I cannot wait to see the rest of what the self-care challengers are up to this week. And we're moving and grooving. All right, so remember, this week, speed bumps, not roadblocks. Okay? All right. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye. This is Graham Breitenstein, and you've been listening to This Week with Drunk Astrology. If you want to follow Drunk Astrology, head to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and hit that follow button. And if you want to learn how to put astrology in motion for you, head to drunkastro.com and get on the insider list. If you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google platforms. Tune in next week for yet another opportunity to work in sync with the stars. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.